Alright guys, so making an attempt again to answer the question and provide you with a little bit of an introduction and what an introduction can look like for this question. Sometimes people love a person, thing or event. Choose two poems that you have studied which portray love. For each poem, describe who or what is loved, discuss the effects of this love, and discuss one device which is used to portray the love. So I'm going to go across to my worksheet now, and I've already started putting my hot introduction together. So hot introductions are supposed to have a hook, an overview, and a thesis statement. So immediately what comes to mind with respect to answering the question would be the text that I have to use, so that I am thinking about using the text, which in this case have to be two poems. And the two poems that we've studied so far would be My Parents and Little Boy Crying. And of course, My Parents is by S. Spender and Little Boy Crying is by M. Morris. For my hook, I'm thinking that I could use a quotation, I could use a definition, I can even use an anecdote, and an anecdote is a personal story. So I'm talking from my own experience. If I use an anecdote in my introduction's thesis statement, I have to remember to refer to one device which portrays love. So let me get my introduction off to a quick start, and hopefully the text isn't too small and you can see as I type. So my overview, I'm going to start with a short definition. Love is experienced in a variety of ways and can come to us unexpectedly and from people we know or don't know. And of course, that's a very generic description of what love is. So why not? I mean, of course, I could have gone with a biblical allusion. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that kind of thing. I can go with the words of a popular song. That can also form a good part of my hook for my essay, but I've decided to just go with this brief description that I have here. In the poems, because I'm getting to my overview now, in the poems Little Boy Crying, you notice that I've put my poems into quotation marks, by Mervyn Morris, and My Parents by Stephen Spender. The poets describe love relationships between parents and their children. And then I'm going to use a sentence which brings love and connects the concept of love to this concept of parenting, and shows that even though this parenting and love relationship might be true, it's not necessarily experienced in the same way that some people have come to experience love. Because what I'm trying to say is this: most of the time when we think that people love us, we get these warm, cozy feelings inside. But if you reflect on the poems Little Boy Crying and My Parents, it's quite the opposite. And so if we think back to the question that we have to answer, sometimes people love a person, thing, or event. And the second part, which says, for each poem, describe who or what is loved, discuss the effects of this love, and discuss a device, especially when we speak about the effects of the love. When we think about the effects of this love, this portion of the poems is really a key and critical part of our analysis. Okay, so I'm going to just give the reader one just one little sentence which suggests to them that I know that the effect of the love is something that is prominent or poignant in these two poems. So this is how I would approach it. In both poems, the children experience love which does not coddle, and that's a word, but instead provides parental protection. Okay, so that's just a general statement for how I think both of these poems can fit into this essay that we're writing. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give my thesis statement, because if I look up here, I've done my hook, and I'm going to highlight my hook in the same color. Whoops. I'm going to highlight my hook. Love is experienced in a variety of ways and can come to us unexpectedly and from people we know or don't know. And of course, I'm sure that you can write a more spunky, sparky, attention-grabbing hook than that, right? Then I'm going to have my overview in blue. So I've identified my poems, Little Boy Crying, and My Parents. And then now I'm getting to this stage, because all of this is also overview. All of this information here is included in my overview. And now I'm going to get to the stage of writing my my thesis statement. So let me just okay. So in this essay, we will explore the theme of love and examine how, because remember, the main thing that I need to do in this thesis statement is I need to identify for the reader what is the device that I will be using. I need to identify the device that I will be using. There are other things that I can do, but I absolutely need to identify the device that I will be examining or discussing in my essay. Okay, so I'm going to go on to say we will be examining how the device of allusion is used. There's just a little bit of highlighter scrolled down below below the line above here, so I have to tweak that when I'm done. How the device of allusion is used to portray love, as well as the effects, because I want to go back to my question. I'm constantly referring to the question every time I answer. So I've kind of related to who or what is loved. I've already looked into this part of my question, described who or what is loved. So in my thesis statement, I need to do these last two indicate that I will be discussing the effects of the love, as well as indicate the device that I will be focusing on. So let me do that here and tidy this up. In this essay, we will explore the theme of love and examine how the device of allusion is used to portray love, as well as the effects of parental love on the two children who are the main characters in each poem. All right. Now, now that I've brought that into focus, one of the things that comes to mind is that I might want to fix my hook a little bit. I might want to go back into my hook and say, love is experienced in a variety of ways and can come to us unexpectedly. Unexpectedly. How about I just say now, I go back and I say unexpectedly. Sometimes love from our parents can feel warm and encouraging, and at other times it can feel harsh. Now you see the difference between the one that I wrote initially and the one that I'm writing now that I reflect on my thesis statement is this. The second version, as I'm sure you can see, when compared to the first version that I wrote, and I just have the little end of the first version here. When compared to the first version, the second one really zeroes in on the concept of love and really zeroes in on the concept of how these specific poems relate to the issue of love. Because as you will recall, the question that we are answering does focus a little bit on, let's go back to the question, people loving a person, a thing, or an event. And so we've decided that we're going to narrow down on people loving a person, so a parent loving a child. So this was just a quick video for me to show you what the introduction looks like. I'm going to tidy it up a little bit. I'm going to remove some of the text that I have here, just so that you can see what the final product looks like. Encouraging, and other times it can feel harsh and or I'm even getting a little bit more excited now and or repressive. In the poems Little Boy Crying by Mervyn Morris and My Parents by Stephen Spender, the poets describe love relationships between parents and their children. In both poems, the children experience love which does not coddle, and now once you look up the meaning of the word coddle, you will understand why my hook is really now connected to my overview, and my overview is really beautifully tied into my thesis statement. It's coming along, and with practice and with time, your writing skills absolutely will improve. I have no doubt about that. So this was another video to help you to write the introduction. In a subsequent video, we're going to be aiming at writing the body paragraphs using another tool, another acronym. So join me for that. Take care of your good selves. All the best. Bye for now.